Welcome to Off the Couch with Dr. Greg, where psychology meets everyday life. I'm Dr. Greg, Cason psychologist, here with producer Brian Gomez.
Happy Monday.
And we also have Jamie on the board. Hi, Jamie.
Hello, hello.
This is a very special episode because we are going to be actually telling you, teaching you, helping you. We're not going to tell you, but helping you crack the code to make effective New Year's resolutions. We're going to make resolutions that actually stick around because most people end them pretty fast. Do you make New Year's resolutions, Brian?
I haven't really in the past few years.
What?
Yeah, but I feel like this year I do want to for sure.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
And what about you, Jamie?
No, not really. I've always been like, I talk about making them and I'll be like, yeah, sure. Or I'll like make some with my friends and then they never last. And by like 2 weeks, I'm like, I'm over it.
You know, I'm more of a New Year's goal person. I like to create goals for the new year. So I don't really quite make a behavioral resolution because I'm like, if you tell me not to do something, I feel like I want to do it.
And I usually have goals throughout the entire year. It's not just like, oh, the start of the year. Like, I have goals every day. Like, yeah. I use sticky notes for my little goals, actually.
Well, let's talk about New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions often feel like the treadmill that keeps you running without any progress because over and over people will be like, I'm going to the gym. And then they don't. You know, they do for like the month of January.
Yeah.
We all know that in gyms, they fill up with all the brand new people. And February 1st, it's like a ghost town in there. You're hearing crickets. And then the next January 1st, you see that same crowd again. So we often see these things. We're going to understand what makes resolutions effective so you can break the cycle and create lasting change. So have you ever thought why resolutions fail? I have a reason. This is actually something called false hope syndrome. False hope syndrome refers to the cycle of setting unrealistic expectations for self-improvement, experiencing initial success, then facing failure, leading to feelings of disappointment and diminished self-esteem. Does this sound familiar? Like I see this all the time, especially with the gym example. People will go and they'll be like, oh, I did 2 hours at the gym today. And then what happens, by the way?
They give up.
Oh, no, like the next day they're in pain because they don't usually go to the gym. So then they have that failure and then they're disappointed and they feel even worse. So it's this kind of process. We see this with dieting.
Dieting, I think, is a big one.
Dieting is a big one. We see this with other behavioral improvements. We see it with, applying for jobs. Like, I'm going to finally get that job. We see all kinds of things. And the minute somebody hits a wall, they'll give up. So we're going to talk about how to clear that wall. The pattern often involves overestimating the ease, the speed, and the amount of change achievable, resulting in repeated unsuccessful attempts at personal change. So what are the key characteristics of false hope syndrome? 1, unrealistic expectations, which is believing that significant change can occur quickly with minimal effort. Number 2, overconfidence. This is one I see a lot. Underestimating challenges and overestimating one's ability to overcome them without adequate preparation. And I've even been a victim of this myself where I'm like, I can do this. I can clear this. I can do this. I can climb to the top of that mountain. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have a blister.
And then that's it.
And then the cycle of failure. Initial optimisms followed by setbacks like a blister, leading to discouragement and potential abandonment of goals. So how we think. Oh, wait. Sorry. Top resolutions. To stop resolutions to stay fit and healthy is 37%. And the number 2 resolution, what do you think it is? Stay fit and healthy. That's number 1. What's the number 2?
Fit and healthy.
Probably like some diet or something.
It's
like,
right.
oh, I'll eat healthier.
How'd you get that? That's great. Lose weight. Because I thought that fit and stay fit and healthy.
That's what I thought. That's why I didn't say that. But yeah.
Basically,
Wow.
basically what we're
Versus
saying,
eating.
69% of goals have to do with our physical bod. So, yeah, the solution with staying fit and healthy might be to start very small, to begin with 2 minutes on the treadmill and increasing each month. Actually, I do this with patients all the time, is I'll give them homework. They're trying to establish a new behavior, and they'll go like, okay, I've not gone to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow for 2 hours. I'm like, oh, that's a long time. Let's talk about that. And then, the strain in your body, etc. And then I say, okay, what can we put that down to that's achievable? And we're going to talk about how to set goals. But what can we put it down to that's achievable? Well, I can do 2 hours. I'm sure you can. But can you do 2 hours the next day and the next day and the next day? Yeah, I think I can. Well, that, false hope syndrome. So I'm like, okay, you can try that perhaps if you're really set on it. Here's something I would try, which is to take it down to whatever the smallest amount that you're willing to accept right now, and then cut that in half. So, and I even welcome homework that goes down to 1 minute. So go to the gym for 1 minute. By the way, going to the gym for 1 minute is brilliant, because if you put on your clothes, you put on everything, you drive down to the gym, you check in, you walk into the gym, you go to 1 minute, you walk out. What do you walk out with?
Accomplishing.
Yeah, you
your
accomplished
goal, right?
it. Yes, that's exactly it. And that'll make it easier to go the next day and maybe go 2 minutes. And then go the next day and go 3 or even 4 minutes. I use this approach on myself to help get me acclimated to changing my gym schedule and working out super early in the morning. This is when I worked in research. I had to work out I had to be there at 5:45, whatever, 6 a.m. And so I had to, really get myself going. And I just made it a goal to start to get to the gym. And eventually I could get to the gym. And then I would go to the gym. I'd even take a shower at the gym without working out, or just work out for 1 minute. Get my work clothes on, go to work, because it was right by the university I was working at, UCLA. And I would just go, okay, here I am. And I started to build in the time so that I could keep working out. And it ended up being an extremely successful strategy. This is something in psychology we call behavioral chaining. You put the behavior one after the other to make the complex behavior. So it's something that actually does work very well. For losing weight, a solution could be to make one change per month, like drinking water instead of soda. I had a friend do this once. I was trying to save money, and we went out to eat, and he said, and I got a soda with my drink, and he said, if you get water, it's free. And I was like, I was a little insulted, but I thought, actually, it's a great idea. It's a great idea because, how many, let's say a soda is $1. Let's make it up, $1. And you go out, let's say 50 times once a week, a year. That's $50. But it probably ends up being a lot more than that in the long run.
I know. I was like, where's a $1 soda at?
So, other popular goals: enjoying life to the fullest, 28%. A solution could be, yeah, right on, let's have a party. Plan one big trip and 2 weekend trips this year. That's making a very specific, achievable goal, and we're going to talk about that. Get organized, 18%. The solution might be to handle mail daily. Trash, file, or act. I have to do this one. My organizational skills are not their best. 18% of people say that is their goal for the year, getting organized. I'm going to join with those people. And number 3, and 25% say spend less and save more. No?
I don't know. I hate saving. I know I should, and I know we all should, but God, I just want to live life to the fullest, like they said.
Well, get a piggy bank, like one of those clear piggy banks, and put $1 in every day, and then you can have a visual reminder to start saving. That visual cue will actually help start to build the behavior towards saving.
Wow, I think I do need to do that because I got a new Chase account, and the person at the bank was like, "Do you want a savings account?" And I was like, "No, I don't need it." So I'm going to take you up on that one for sure.
And this is one my mom would like, and I need to do much better at. Spending time with loved ones. 19% of people thought that was an important resolution. This resolution leads to a longer, happier life. Good resolutions might be to call your mom weekly. I'm going to work on that. And host a game night every 2 months. Host a game night every 2 months with your loved ones. And that can be your chosen loved ones, your family, your chosen family. And plan activities that align with your ideal self and build meaningful connections. Isn't that nice? So let's start with setting realistic and achievable New Year's goals. These are strategies that can help the long-term success. First, we have to choose a specific, attainable goal. So instead of broad objectives like, let's get fit, I want to get fit this year, define precise targets. And in fact, I don't like body targets as much as I like fitness targets. So like when somebody says, I want to weigh 10 pounds less. You could get liposuction and meet that goal, I guess. But it's really not the way to go. In fact, we would say a fitness target could be something like walking 30 minutes daily. Walk 30 minutes daily, and you may not see your weight go down for a long time, but you're building an extremely healthy behavior that will eventually start to result in a loss of weight and increase in other health factors in your life. So the clarity directs your efforts effectively. When you just say get fit versus walking 30 minutes daily gives you something to do. Another one is to ensure that goals are measurable. Establish criteria to track progress. For instance, aiming to read 1 book per month allows you to monitor achievements and stay motivated. Again, here we're saying 1 book per month. Oh, I've read my book. It was War and Peace. That was a big book. So the next book will be this tiny little pamphlet. But they're both books. But you can do it.
I'm getting a lot of ideas from everything you're saying. I'm like, I need to write this down. These are going to be my goals too.
Another thing we always want to do is to set realistic and relevant objectives. So align your goals with your personal values. Personal values are the point on the horizon of which the kind of person that you want to be, the kind of life that you want to lead. I always say to clients, what is the man or woman that you want to be? What is the person that you want to be in this world? And usually they have that objective in mind. And that objective can help guide them like a point on the horizon that can guide them in the right direction. So align your goals with personal values and ensure that they're attainable. Overly ambitious resolutions can lead to frustration and abandonment. What I like to say is objectives are the point on the horizon, that goals are the signposts along the way. And the signpost, you meet a goal, you can pass the signpost. Or another analogy, just to even complicate, but I'll say if I'm really feeling fancy, I'll say a goal is, the values, the point on the horizon. The goal is like getting to a city like New York, and you're in LA. Like we want to drive to New York. So we will drive there, and objectives might be the mile markers that help us know that we're getting to our goal. So there are all different analogies you can use. Time-bound your goals. Assign deadlines to create a sense of urgency and facilitate planning. For example, save $1,000 in 6 months provides a clear time frame. And develop a detailed plan. Break down your goal into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces overwhelm and provides a roadmap to follow. Think of that analogy I used. If you want to drive from New York, if you want to drive from LA to New York, How are you going to get there? You have to map it out. You're going to have to say how much gas you're going to use, where you're going to have to stop along the way. I mean, there's certain things you're going to need to do along the way to help get you to that goal. Do an oil change. I don't know what else. Also, to monitor your progress. The best goals are always monitored. You're following them. So regularly assess your advancement to stay on track and make necessary adjustments, celebrating small victories and maintain motivation, and also seek support. Sharing your goals with friends or joining groups with similar objectives can provide accountability and encouragement. This is why I like to join. This is why I like working out in a gym and why I like going to classes, because other people fuel my fire.
I was going to say, I think classes are a good way to like stick to it and like force you to pretty much show up.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a rubric that we used to use, which was basically like in doing therapy with people to help them set goals, a very basic. We would say, make sure the goal is realistic. It can be done, that it's achievable. Like we have it's realistic and achievable, not too easy, not too hard. That the goal is not super easy, that it's not a challenge. But when it's too hard, then you face that false hope syndrome and you feel that failure right up front. Not too easy, not too hard, and you got to make sure it has a clear endpoint. That you can point to it and say, I knew how I got there. That's when I achieved my goal. So, but commit to the strategy, not just the endpoint. You got to, once you know the endpoint, commit to the strategy that will get you there. That's the walking, 30 minutes a day, etc. Break it down into small, achievable chunks. Celebrate every win along the way. I like to give myself a pat on the back, an actual pat. And if you fall off, dust yourself off and get back on and get back out there, because that is the way to make a New Year's resolution happen.
I'm really going to think about what I want to make as my New Year's resolution now and see if I can stick to it.
Fitness, money, weight, time with friends. What is it, Brian?
Food. I want to be just better about how I eat, because the last few months have been just like where I'm just eating pizza, anything that I'm craving. I'm like,
Health
yeah,
foods.
baby wants.
Yeah, I hear
I'm the
you.
baby.
That's pretty much how I always eat. This has been my problem my whole life. So I'm just we're gonna wind this up, because we've got New Year's goals to happen, and we're gonna have to go prepare for New Year's. So and bringing in 2025. Hopefully, it's going to be a good one. I know it's been a challenging one in many ways, 2024, and we're all very anxious and a lot of concern about 2025. So one thing I can say is set your goals. These are the ways to achieve goals, but also it's a time for us to come together. I think that's the brilliance of maybe New Year's Eve. If you do spend it with people that you love, spend it with friends. It's also a chance for all of us to renew ourselves and start afresh. But I do think it's very important in 2025 to hold hands as we all go forward into this year, that we all need to band together. Otherwise, things could get very, very rocky. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Well, I guess that takes us to the end. That wraps us up for the show today. Reminder to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars. Remember to link to my YouTube page, youtube.com/Dr. Greg. You can see our mugs on there. Hit us up on the socials. This is Dr. Greg and Brian and Jamie bidding you farewell. Bye, guys. Until next time, be present, be flexible, and be kind.